Thank you for joining us at Channel 22 Nightly News. This is your host, Chandler Young. Tonight we are bringing you a very special segment, one that Americans struggle with. Almost 2/3 of Americans, 66%, claim that they hear or read about food and drink consumption almost every single day. With growing confusion surrounding a healthy diet, healthy supplements, and what is most effective towards men and women's health, there is a lot of room for widespread misinformation and false assumptions. Tonight we are going to tackle the complex topic of protein sources and supplements, and how they differ in terms of muscle growth and other health benefits. With a booming $9.88 billion protein supplement industry, it is very easy to get lost in all of the options that they provide. Whether you're trying to shed a few holiday pounds or put some on in the gym, here are some things for you to consider before spending a buck. Today we have with us Max Schillig, protein powder expert.
Thank you so much for having me on, Chandler. This is Max Schillig with Channel 22 Nightly News. In the United States, it is a struggle for most Americans to meet even the basic protein requirements for general health and well-being. We see 50% of girls aged 14 through 18, 10% of men aged 19 through 50, and even 25% of women not meeting the basic recommended daily goals of protein. We live in a fast-paced society where it is important to have convenient, quick, and on-the-go high-protein foods at our disposal. These foods can contain a variety of forms of protein ranging from whey, soy, milk, creatine, and even more complex isolates and concentrates. There are, of course, more traditional options for getting in that much needed protein, such as more natural and simple protein sources such as beef, chicken, fish, a lot of dairy products such as eggs and milk, even though these are not always the most convenient to pack into our busy lifestyles. In recent years, protein has become quite the health rage, with many claiming that a heightened intake of protein will lead to more muscle growth, aid in muscle sustainment, and even help in losing weight and stubborn belly fat. While most can agree that protein is beneficial for overall health, building and repairing muscles, growth and development, hormone regulation, digestion, and muscle prevention with aging, many are at the odds about what type of protein is really considered the healthiest and most efficient.
So, before diving into the real truthful science behind protein supplements and muscle growth, can you shed a little light on the basics for our viewers? Can you provide us with a little more insight on how protein sources are derived from animals and plants?
Absolutely. First, we have complete proteins, which these are foods that contain all of the 9 essential amino acids that are found that the human body needs. Animal products are the most common and a wonderful source of these proteins, which are contained within the animal's flesh from meat, poultry, fish, and as well as eggs and dairy. Some plants also offer complete proteins such as quinoa, buckwheat, soy, hemp seed, blue-green algae, seitan, and several others. But there's also incomplete proteins sources, which are proteins that do not contain all of the 9 acids, such as beans, nuts, seeds. These are going to be your trail mixes. This is going to be your granola bars. We have a little diagram here. This middle segment, this is going to be your incomplete protein. It doesn't have all the 9 sources on it. This one here at the end has all 9 on it, so that's going to be your complete proteins, your meat, your poultry, your dairy, your eggs.
So, which of these would you say is the most ideal? Complete proteins or incomplete proteins?
So, both serve a really big purpose in our overall health, but complete proteins are generally the easier route for getting in higher amounts of protein.
What about animal protein versus plant protein?
Animal is overall more ideal due to it carrying more complete proteins and its high bioavailability. They're also easily digested and absorbed, which makes them more efficient than plant-based sources.
So let's go to the protein byproduct section. The most popular protein byproducts on the markets today are your whey, casein, and soy proteins. Can you walk us through this side of the protein market?
Absolutely. So cow's milk is made up of 2 proteins, and these are casein and whey. When milk is being processed to make cheese or yogurt, it's separated into liquid and curds. The liquid is what contains the whey, while the curds are what contain the casein proteins. Both undergo a micro and ultrafiltration process that are concentrated by evaporating excess liquids and fats, and they're often dried to create powders that are sold and used in a variety of different forms that we see. Meanwhile, soy proteins are harvested from soybeans that are dehulled, ground, and stripped of their oil content. They then get run through a water extraction process. Protein containing the water is subjected to filtration and evaporation until the protein is what remains, and then typically is used in the same ways as whey and casein and placed on the shelves of your local supermarket.
So, do these different processes and the use of materials affect the environment differently? Could they perhaps be healthier for something bigger than just us humans?
It's a great question. So, a lot of different environmental factors occur from animal and plant-based protein byproducts. So, Soy protein is the plant's healthier option as it doesn't have any links to the dairy industry. The dairy industry is a significant contributor to GHG emissions, and it makes whey and casein a lesser option in that aspect. However, whey and casein are often derived from portions of milk that will be discarded, so that reduces environmental waste, and it can be seen more environmentally friendly in that aspect.
Okay. In recent years, have there been more developments towards other plant protein sources aside from soy and pea?
Yes, so scientists are actually working to rely more on amaranth leaves so that they can reduce their reliance on soy and pea proteins.
That's amazing. So let's start to get to the nitty gritty. Since whey and soy are two of the most popular alternative protein sources on today's market, has there been any research-based evidence that there is a difference in the effectiveness in terms of muscle development in the human body?
So the research and results are very mixed and limited. What we know is soy and whey are both complete proteins, very useful in terms of protein intake, protein being added, and muscle development. Their amino acid profiles differ a little bit, as well as their digestibility rates and their kinetic rates of absorption. These differences can suggest that there would be an effect of muscle protein synthesis, which could result in different rates of the effectiveness of these proteins. But so far, nothing has been seen to be substantial in the difference between these two. And also, several previous studies, it was reported whey increased the lean body mass more positively than soy did. Many other researcher studies have suggested there's no difference over a 12-week research study with that. What's noted between positive and negative significance studies is that across soy and whey protein groups, there's an increase in total body mass with a reduction of body fat, an increase of torque of leg extensors and flexors. Lean body mass production was affected positively by both forms of these proteins.
So essentially protein is protein in this case. Any protein is a good protein.
In this case, yes.
So does that go for the same when comparing these byproducts such as whey and soy to complete natural animal proteins, such as straight poultry tissue, for instance?
So this is where the answer separates a little bit. Animal products are the more direct, complete protein profiles. They'll always be more beneficial in terms of muscle development and overall health. More easily digested than the byproducts. They have more complete amino acid profiles, and they're often more macro-friendly when comparing the amount of carb, fat, and sugar ratios that you see when you have to take into account whey and soy protein powders.
Okay. So I feel like there's a but coming. So what is the but?
But a lot of these protein byproducts are convenient and easy to slip into an everyday diet, like granola bar trail mix.
And sometimes protein is protein.
Sometimes protein is protein.
So who do you see these products benefiting most greatly?
So athletes, highly active individuals, pregnant women, and those with other underlying health issues, just for starters. I mean, athletes go through tons of muscle growth, muscle destruction. They need to maintain themselves over the course of their season, over the course of their sport. Pregnant women need to take in a lot more protein because they need to account for themselves and the baby that is growing in their womb. And those with underlying health issues and complications need extra protein to sneak in with shakes, bars, smoothies, baking products, anything that can help them reach their goals.
Well, when you need it, you need it.
You need it, you need it.
So, to wrap up this segment, I would like to ask you one more question. And I feel as though we can both agree that this topic of protein and protein sources has hit in the media pretty hard. Do you agree with a lot of the opinions that you see in videos and posts, or do you feel your opinions differ?
Well, personally find a lot of my opinions in these informational videos to be a little bit extreme. People are voicing their opinion. They're not looking at the facts. They're not looking at the biological data. Many view animal and plant protein products and byproducts with a black and white lens. They think one is better than the other, one is more needed than the other. What we see though is that protein is protein. All the products in this case aid each other.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Max. This was an extremely informational segment, and I hope that we were able to demonstrate the importance and the uses of different protein sources in the body, and how there is no goods or bads or betters when it comes to protein supplements and sources.
I can't thank you enough for having me. This topic has been discussed for many years now. I'm sure it will be for years to come. If I remember right from my Bio 100 class about amino acids, complete proteins, and incomplete proteins, pretty sure you need a little bit of it all.
You need a little bit of everything. So we hope that you are having a good night, and we hope that you have found a little bit of this information helpful. See you next time.
Stay safe.